Okay, so get this. What if the gadgets you already have, like sitting on your desk right now, could team up to create a super fast, super private network just for your car? It's a pretty radical idea, right? We're going to explore how your Mac Mini and your car can become this powerful, decentralized team. Let's dive in. But first, let's talk about something that drives us all crazy. You've got the latest phone, the fastest internet, your car is supposed to be smart. So why does it still feel so slow? You know that annoying pause, right? The one between you asking it to do something and it actually doing it? What's up with that? Well, a lot of the time, the culprit is just plain old distance. I mean, take a look at this. When your car sends out data, it's not a short trip. It has to travel all the way from your car over the internet to some massive far-off cloud server. Then it gets processed, and then it has to make the entire journey back. That whole round trip, that's what tech folks call latency. And it's the absolute enemy of anything that needs to happen in real time. So, the big question is, how do you beat that lag? How do you get rid of that latency? Well, believe it or not, the answer might actually be sitting on your desk right this second. Yeah, we're talking about giving your Mac Mini a totally new and frankly pretty cool job. It's going to become something called an Edge AI node. Now, what is that? Think of it like this. Instead of your car's brain being in a giant data center hundreds of miles away, an edge node is a local brain. It does all the heavy computational lifting right there, in your home, right where the data is created. It's local, it's powerful, and it's totally focused on the job. And here it is, the unexpected hero of this whole story, the humble Mac Mini. I know, right? It's a device we all know, a standard piece of consumer hardware. But it's about to become the absolute heart of a totally new kind of network. And we're not just talking about any old Mac Mini. This is the one with Apple's new M4 silicon. And just look at these specs. They are perfect for this. We're talking 38 trillion operations per second for AI tasks. That is just a massive amount of power. And it sips energy, making it a real green computing powerhouse. Plus, with 10 gigabit Ethernet, it can just vacuum up data at incredible speeds. It's literally built to be a set-it-and-forget-it kind of machine, just running 24/7 in the background. All right, so let's put this new setup to the test. In one corner, we have the traditional, massive cloud server, and in the other, our local Mac Mini Edge node. How do they stack up? Let's get ready for the showdown. Wow. Okay, this radar chart pretty much says it all, doesn't it? That little gray blob in the middle, that's your standard cloud server. And that huge blue shape completely dominating the chart, yeah, that's our Mac Mini Edge node. It is a landslide victory across the board on privacy, speed, efficiency, simplicity, cost, you name it. It's not even a fair fight, honestly. And let's just focus on that speed for a second. The goal here is a latency of less than 1 millisecond. Let that sink in. We're talking virtually instantaneous. When you're dealing with critical stuff like vehicle safety or real-time commands, that kind of speed isn't just a nice to have, it's absolutely essential. And this slide, oh man, this slide shows you why in the most dramatic way possible. Look at that huge gray bar up top. That is the delay, the lag you get from a standard cloud API call. Now look down at that tiny little sliver at the bottom. You can barely even see it, right? That's the edge node. By keeping the processing local, it just delivers a complete knockout punch to network lag. Game over. So let's just recap the big differences here. With a Mac Mini, you get local AI processing, not remote API calls. You get absolute data privacy instead of sending your private info across the internet. You get near zero latency, not those frustrating network delays. And it's super energy efficient, unlike those giant power-guzzling server farms. It's a totally different world. Okay, so we've established that it's way faster and way more private, but how does it actually work? Like, what's the journey the data takes? Let's trace it step by step. It's actually a really simple three-step process. First, the pilot unit in your car sends out encrypted data. That could be telemetry, performance info, maybe a voice command. Step 2, your personal Mac Mini node sitting safe and sound in your home grabs that data, processes it with its AI, and, now this is the most important part, it scrubs out any and all of your personal information. Then, and only then, step 3, that completely anonymous data gets recorded on the global network's secure ledger. And that leads to this crucial point. Your node is basically acting as a physical firewall. Think about it. Because all the private stuff, all the personally identifiable information is handled and removed locally on your own machine, your private data never even touches the public internet. That is a massive, fundamental shift in how we approach data privacy. Okay, this all sounds fantastic for speed and privacy, but what's in it for you? You know, the person who's actually providing the hardware and the electricity. Well, this is where it gets really, really interesting. This system isn't just about contributing your resources, it's about earning from them. And the source material puts it perfectly. Quote, once your car joins the CarBoy-Talkie network, you start monetizing through both hardware assets. It's that simple. You're earning rewards from your car for providing data, and you're earning rewards from your Mac Mini for providing the computing power. It's a 2-for-1 deal. And let's actually look at what that means in dollars and cents. These are some monthly estimates, right? If you just run a Mac Mini node, you could be looking at around $60 a month. Just the car pilot unit, maybe $40. But here's the magic. When you combine them, when you have that dual hardware ecosystem, the potential earnings jump to over $130 a month. That's a huge difference. So you're probably asking, where does that extra money come from? And this chart breaks it down perfectly. You've got your rewards from the Mac Mini's compute power, and you've got rewards for the car's data. But see that third slice? That's the secret sauce, the synergy bonus. And the synergy bonus is exactly what it sounds like. It's a special reward system that unlocks higher-tier payouts specifically for people who connect both a vehicle and a Mac Mini node to the network. It's a way of rewarding the users who are most committed to building out this incredible decentralized ecosystem. All right, let's step back for a second and just look at the big picture here. What does all of this really mean? Not just for our cars, but for the future of our connected world. See, this whole project is way more than just about making cars faster or smarter. It's a perfect example of a much bigger shift that's happening. We're getting a glimpse into a future where you're not just a user of a network, you're actually a core part of its infrastructure. We're talking about a move towards decentralized, user-owned networks that are by their very nature more private, more efficient, and in the end, way more powerful. And that really leaves us with one last big question to chew on. In a world dominated by giant data centers and massive corporate clouds, what if the most powerful, most secure, and most resilient networks of the future are the ones that we build ourselves?